This is our song. This is the song we get. Yeah, it's not.
Am I on?
Generic song we found online. They said, "Is this okay?" I went, "Yeah, that's fine. Who cares? Because it doesn't matter anyway."
What do you mean? Oh, the song?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, dude. If anybody out there ever wants to write us a song and totally give us the rights to it and never, ever ask for anything else other than us shouting you out, you can do it.
Yeah.
At JD Bunkis, at Sam McKee. It's Leafs Talk. Yeah, hit us up. Let us know if you're musically talented and you want to try. I will say this. I did try that for...
You want a show?
No, I think I tried it for Good Show.
Welcome to the JD Bunkis Podcast.
No, I did it. Yeah, that was pretty good.
Thank you.
You know what? Clip that. Clip that, Drew. Maybe we'll play that. I tried it for Good Show.
Yeah.
And there was one group of guys that actually sent a decent submission.
Okay.
But we didn't get enough that we could play the submissions because it's only fun if you can like play it and make them vote.
Yeah.
And one guys did a pretty good job.
Okay.
But then the rest were terrible. And I had some dudes that were just like sending me songs that they wrote that weren't
I'm working on this one around the campfire.
Yeah. They were like, "Here's this song that I made. It's a house beat." And I went, "Yeah, no, this isn't what I'm talking about. This isn't just time for you to, this isn't America's Got Talent, bro. This is write a song."
We got the distraction TV in here.
Oh, yeah.
We got the guys coming in.
Yeah, the distractive.
This is so much different than what we usually do.
Yeah.
I am feeling like I'm in a very different situation.
It's nice being in the same room, though.
It is.
Yeah, instead of over the screen.
And we tried that last year, and it's just technical difficulties, and we couldn't figure it out. But it is nice to be in the same room. Yeah. What happened to the hockey game?
You gotta love that we
sat around for so long.
We got the weight of the entire network behind us, and we can't figure out what every other podcast has been figuring out for 15 years. Our guys tried one time, and then the crack squad behind all of this was like, that's as many tries as we're ever going to try with this.
No comments or questions at this time.
Yeah, no, it's great. It's really good stuff. Anyways, the Leafs won. Again, they're reeling off wins.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, we're going to talk about the game, and we got an hour actually today. Leafs Talk's never timed. It's always at our discretion.
Yes.
But today we're on radio and on SN+. So if you're watching this on YouTube, it's later. But if you're watching this on SN+, you're watching it live. God, we look so handsome with the TV lighting, though. Like, look at that.
Yeah. Oh, buddy, I'm used to the TV lighting, pal. Should have brought my makeup today.
Do that face. Ooh, that's for the SN Plus people. Yeah, you lucky dogs. You lucky dogs getting that look.
Should run my makeup.
All right, so Leafs win. And, okay, quick game summary. First period was terrible.
Mm-hmm.
There's just two teams on a Sunday or Saturday. What day is it?
Monday.
Today? Monday afternoon.
Yes.
Feels like a Sunday afternoon, but it's a Monday. No, the NBA All-Star game was we're going to be lazy on the lazy Sunday.
That was the real gem of last
Monday night. Holiday, which you and I are still not clear what exactly it is in the States today.
I think my final submission was Columbus Day, but I'm not 100% sure on that.
I thought Columbus Day got canceled.
Okay.
Thought we'd learned this in Sopranos.
Oh, yeah.
It's done. Christopher Columbus was a great American. You know, like we did.
It's an excellent episode.
Awesome episode. But I don't think Columbus Day is a thing anymore. Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe I'm right. But could be that it's done. Or they renamed it probably to something like Discovery Day.
Washington's birthday. George Washington's birthday.
Today?
Yeah.
They get that day, huh?
Yeah. There you go.
All right.
Yep.
Happy birthday,
George
Washington. Anyways, first period, just dog's breakfast.
Mm-hmm.
Nothing to see here, essentially. And then what do you get? You get Austin Matthews. You question whether or not he's ever going to get a shot. He gets a shot.
Yeah.
And it goes into the back of the net.
Mm-hmm.
The Leafs take the lead. And, I guess they kind of looked back for a second there. It got a little spooky when Tyler Bertuzzi somehow shot the puck over the net on an
tried to go bar down from the neutral zone.
No, straight up. Have you ever seen that before?
No.
I've never seen that.
That is a very unique skill that only Tyler Bertuzzi this season could pull off. But
the curse is back.
It's definitely back, all the way back. But just first of all, take 3 more strides towards the offensive zone and shoot it along the ice.
Yeah,
shoot it along the ice. You're that far out. There's way more of an opportunity for it to sail on you if you're trying to go upstairs from the neutral zone. So, anyways, that was weird. But I thought it was a very, very holiday Monday start. 6-6 for the shots after the first. I think Matthew Nye scored his nicest goal in his career.
No,
where he walks
first one, nicest goal of his career is in the playoffs, right after.
You mean the through the legs one?
Yeah.
I thought that one was nicer, where he walks in, goes crossbody, goes upstairs. It was a nice one.
Pretty sweet.
But I think this is a stretch of games where you have to weigh either you're starting to feel like the Leafs are figuring it out without Morgan Rielly in the lineup, and, they're playing Rafai on their bottom pair and Lajoie, or that they're just playing bad teams and they're taking advantage of a good situation here where they needed to have it with Morgan Rielly out of the lineup. And you have to weigh where they're getting hot and people are getting a little excited. Feels like they're kind of back talk and they're in the top 10 in the league again and they look like, but they're just playing bad teams here. And you have to kind of weigh that because I think they've looked good. I think they've looked better, but the competition hasn't been as good. So I'm kind of caught in the middle.
No, so I think what you said is right. And this is the thing I keep trying to hammer home is if you think that the Leafs, let's just put it this way. If you think the Leafs are better without Morgan Rielly, I strongly disagree with you. This is I know I've seen the sample. I've seen all the games.
Is it 17-2 now?
Yes, man. But also the Leafs have been a really good regular season team under Sheldon Keefe. Yeah. So the games that Morgan Rielly has missed, they're just a really good team in general. And now this stretch in particular where the Leafs haven't been a very good regular season team, they're playing a bunch of dogs.
Yeah.
And okay, here's the thing. Two things can be true. Credit to the Leafs. We've barbecued these guys for lowering themselves to their competition year over year over year. So to me, this is actually a really positive sign. I said it months ago that you were going to evaluate the Leafs as measuring stick games against some of the crap teams because that's the ones that they will show their true selves. We just want to play shinny. We don't want to play hard. We'll trade chances with you. We'll let you take a bunch of shots at our net. Who cares? Slow start, fall behind the 8 ball, and hope that our talent gets us back in the hockey game. They're definitely playing better.
Yeah.
These have been tighter games. Both games against the Blues. Blues didn't get a ton of crazy good chances.
Yeah.
This wasn't a game where the Blues were peppering them, and
their only sustained real pressure was at the end of the game when they had the goalie pulled and they had an offensive zone for like 2 minutes, and that was pretty much it.
Exactly correct. Yeah. And then one good power play that the Leafs making a mistake on, and who was it that scored that goal? Gets right into the middle of the ice.
It was Brent Saad.
Yeah, Saad. It gets tipped off of somebody and goes
off of Liljegren's leg.
Finds the top corner, and you're like, okay, well, whatever. That's just a crappy bad bounce goal. But ultimately, Leafs played really good against Anaheim. They played really good against both these games in St. Louis. Positive momentum for them. But if we're talking about actually trying to drive Brad Treliving to do something heading into the deadline, like actually get aggressive, not just offer whatever crappy bunch of picks. He's basically going around to every GM saying, hey, what will you give me for all the bad picks we have over the next couple of years? And most GMs are going, yeah, we're not jumping to that. We're not rushing to do that. But if you want him to be thrown in the first, you want him to be really getting aggressive, it's going to come with those 2 games against Vegas, the game against Colorado. I think they've got Boston twice, and there's one other good team that's in the mix there.
I'm just pulling up the Leafs schedule.
Either way, those are the teams that they're going to have to continue this play against. Yeah. This is nice, though. They deserve credit for these wins.
Absolutely. They had the Rangers in that stretch as well. So it goes after today, goes Coyotes,
Coyotes,
Golden Knights back to back.
9 losses in a row, I think, for Arizona.
And then it's Avalanche, Golden Knights at home again, Coyotes at home, and then Rangers at home Saturday, March 2nd.
Yeah, that's the stretch right before.
That's a stretch that will really tell you what this team is. And
100%. Did you take a step from the last time you played the Avs? When their stars caved you in, right?
Yeah, that game was how long ago?
A month ago.
Yeah.
Yeah, where they just kicked your teeth in and Sheldon Keefe went, those guys have stars that are unfair.
In a different league.
Yeah, they play in a different league.
Yeah.
So what are you going to look like on a Saturday night against them after your coach called you out last time they played? Let's see that game.
I just have it's just starting to feel exactly the same as every other Leafs regular season here.
This one still feels pretty different to me because
it is they don't
have an identity.
Yeah, but
other than just Matthews scores for us every night.
That's
49 goals.
That's the identity. Is Matthews shoots it in the net every night. Their offense is still the identity. It's still, regardless of what any general manager does to this team, the identity is the 4 guys that score. That's always going to be the identity. But are they now moved up into the second wild card spot again, right? And Florida passed Boston, so. Boston's playing right now, so they're right there with.
What's the score of that game?
It's 3-3. It's 3-3 right now in the third period. So
I put a little sprinkle on.
Okay, but it's just heading towards the exact same scenario that the Leafs have been in heading into the playoffs for the last era of Leafs hockey.
Yeah, I would say it's going to end up being a similar result, different path.
Sure,
because they'll probably jump Tampa.
Yeah, they already have jumped Tampa, and they're ahead of Tampa. Yeah. Tampa has 65 points. Toronto has 68 points.
But how many games has Tampa played?
They've played 2 more games than the Leafs.
Okay.
So it's they're probably going to be ahead of Tampa. Yeah. So you're going to look at one of these 2 wild card spots, and it's just you're going to be in the exact same scenario that you always are.
You're going to be
playing
either
Boston or Florida on the road.
Nightmare.
Right? That's. Is it? I don't know. Honestly, I'm starting to feel like that may be the best situation for them.
No, I disagree. I think that the best situation for them is that they actually fall out somehow. You want the truth serum? That the best solution.
Middle it.
Yeah.
Middle it.
Yeah. Somehow find a way to play a team in a different division.
Yeah.
God, wouldn't it be so refreshing? It's so funny because they gamed this entire playoff format to create rivalries.
Yes.
And all they've done to the biggest market in hockey is make you so sick of playing any of the teams that are in this division.
Well, I just, we don't need to get into a conversation about
stick to the game
about the playoff matchups here and how it works. But I think the best situation for the Toronto Maple Leafs is going into a playoff series is to be doubted. Mm-hmm. I truly do, where no one thinks they're going to win anything. Like we saw that last year where everyone doubted them against Tampa again. And we're like, oh, there's the same story. They're not going to beat Tampa again. Most people picked against them. And then they go out there and they beat them when they shouldn't have. And then in the next series, it's like, oh my God, they got the Panthers. They're way better than the Panthers. They're starting on home ice. And then they just get smoked. So to me, the better situation is to be an underdog going into a series as opposed like Cooper and Keefe last year literally fist fought to be like, oh no, we're the underdog in this year. No, we're the underdog. Especially for the Leafs, though. I think the Leafs, it's the most important status for the Leafs to have is to be the underdog going into any series. But anyways. So
if these guys need some other form of motivation after getting one playoff series win in 8 seasons, then that just tells me everything I need to know.
Yeah, I think that's very fair.
Okay, so Matthews has now 114 straight games with a shot on net. He was sitting without one heading into the third period, which you and I both said as it was starting, bet you he gets one.
Yeah.
And then he very quickly did. Really nice play by Marner, just to be able to collect the puck, grab it, and then just put a beautiful little feather pass pillow. Just you and I have been saying it. There's a reason why Matthews likes playing with the guy.
Yes.
That's one of those plays. Matthews tucks it after a couple whiffs earlier on the power play and then a backhand that should have gone in the net and hits
after
the post.
Beautiful pass from Marner. Backhand sauce across the ice in stride to Matthews, which is an amazing play.
So another really quality game from that line. Matthews scoring. It's all great. He's papering over anything. But I got to ask, this is the way that I'm going to frame the question. Because Nye scored 2 and his goal was brilliant. Like you said, maybe nicest of his career.
Yeah.
If you're saying it reminds you of all the old Leafs teams, are the Leafs once again a one-line team?
I think
like they broke up Tavares tonight. They tried to spread out the talent.
I think maybe 1.5 lines. Yeah, I really do. Like I think having Willie Nylander on any line makes it at least a half a line because some nights for sure. And he's kind of got his mojo back here a little bit in terms of point production. I think we both would agree that's not quite the same guy since the contract extension, but at least it's the points are going in again. He gets a beautiful shorthanded goal tonight, which was nice. Third of the season, which is pretty surprising to have him be in the ranks for shorthanded goals. But anytime you have him, I don't think you're a full one-line team unless you're doing the nuclear load up, but you're never going to do that. I just think the Tavares decline has really made it more of a one-line situation. And you saw Tavares
with him tonight.
Yeah, no, you saw Tavares go down and play with McMahon and play with Nick Robertson, and you see Domi moving up or whatever. I think it's pretty clear where the organization and where they're starting to think Tavares is in his career. We saw the first power play tonight where he wasn't on it. Right?
I wonder. What do you think about that?
I think they kind of understand where he is now and that they're diminishing his role a little bit. I really feel that way. Like I truly start to think that he may be the third line center-y type of guy what did he play tonight? What was his ice time? Like do you have it in front of you? Like I feel like it wasn't very high. So I'm starting to wonder if they're maybe just backing off of him a bit. He's been hurt, right? Like he missed the game on Saturday night. So maybe they're trying to think about what's going to happen when the playoffs start and they want him fresher for that. And they're backing off him a little bit here during this sort of dog day or whatever. But it does feel to me that they are really sort of backing him off in terms of his role with this team. It does feel like that.
Yeah, it doesn't feel that way to me, to be honest. I think that the guy was just sick and he's probably working his way back. I think the other part of it is that they're experimenting because they've been missing some guys. They had a really good game. McMahon all of a sudden is going. And so they put the guy who's going with Tavares to see, hey, can you shake this up? Can you have this look a little different? Like Tavares still finished with, 1608. It's not really that big of a departure from where he's normally at, right? Like,
yeah, I think that's down a little bit. He's usually up closer to like the 18, 19.
Yeah, buddy, because he's not on the power play.
Yeah, and that's
so
what
he played all of his minutes 5-on-5. He just didn't get his power play time, and that one is fine by me because you're trying to get Bertuzzi going. I just don't think that Bertuzzi will last there and that Keefe won't keep that rolling for too long. He probably tried that tonight. Power play doesn't click.
Mm-hmm.
My guess is maybe he tries it another game against Arizona and gets cute. This is going to be the real test, is what does Sheldon Keefe do coaching-wise when they play the Vegases and the Colorados and those other teams too? Does he go tight butt, classic Sheldon Keefe, roll two lines, put the same guys all together and then sit everybody else?
Probably.
Or does he say, yeah, probably. Or does he say, you know what? Like, we're actually really not crazy prisoners of the standings anymore, because it's pretty clear Leafs are getting in, right? Like, we can put the panics aside of missing the postseason.
I would say that if there's one thing that's different about this year, I definitely had more moments where I was worried about the playoffs.
Yeah, definitely. But now that they've been able to kind of snugly get some of these points, and just who's behind them?
Yeah, there's not a lot of
the Islanders are going to just rip off a ton of wins in a row.
They look awful.
That's what I mean. They already got their dead coach bounced, and then it's just not working for them already. So I don't know. The Devils. By the way, you need two teams to at least get hot and run to push the Leafs out.
And it's like Detroit. Not going to be the Capitals. It's not going to be the Penguins.
Capitals are terrible.
No,
dude.
It's not.
That's what I'm saying. I think they're going to securely get in the playoffs. So you do have the comfort of, you guys are in. And you're not catching Boston, you're not catching Florida.
Yeah.
Right? So try to figure out something different while you've got this stretch. But if I was, tree living and I was Shanahan and I was in the room with Keefe and you were sitting down over what the goals are going to be, and I know that you don't want to get too much into the coach's head about what his strategy is, but saying, listen, if you guys want us to buy, you got to win a bunch of these games, but also we sort of want to be able to see what we have in certain dudes.
And I think this stretch has forced them into that, where look what this stretch
forced the conversation into being like,
look what it's done for Bobby McMahon.
Yeah. No, that's huge. That was going to be the next guy we talked about.
Well, no, but it's just that, having it be where you haven't been able to play, like that game where Marner and Tavares both missed it. And then you have Bobby McMahon. That's the one he scored the hat trick in, right? Where it's just like he elevates his game, and Ryan Reeves takes a brutal penalty tonight, but he's been playable at least during these games where you're playing against bad teams, right? Like at least you're putting him out there and it's not an auto minus like it was at the start of the year. Holmberg's looked good. I thought he had a nice little game tonight too. Kampf has started to get back to where he's been at. You look at the bottom six guys and it's like, yeah, you know what? I think these guys are dependable, more dependable than we thought before this sort of stretch, and maybe it gives them more trust. Still clearly don't love Domi in the defensive zone. Bertuzzi to me is like it's getting harder to defend. I didn't think he was particularly good again tonight. I know he had the goal against the Ducks finally to get the curse off, but like as a free agent signing, that's been a really, really disappointing.
Still believe he's just going to be a playoff
for sure. Yeah. And I'll be happy to look back on these conversations and feel like an idiot like we did other years with Morgan Riley. But
I told you that I had Bosman, right?
Yeah.
So he coached him for 3 years in Detroit.
Yeah.
And I asked him about him, and he was pretty honest.
Yeah.
He said he's a guy that needs to, and I know, I understand how this actually sounds, me saying it.
Let me have it.
Because it sounds really dumb, but I think if you're reading between the lines, you're understanding it is he's a guy who needs to feel good to play good.
Okay.
And you would say, who is that not true about? But I think that really what he's saying is, this is a guy who can have his confidence shaken at times. Like, he's someone who is...
Well, it shows it.
Yeah.
When he's banging one off the end glass in an empty net from the neutral zone.
But again, I think that when you assume, because going back to a first introduction and why they always matter in big markets and what you think about, about a guy, you assume with Bertuzzi that he was going to come in here and basically be like a carefree banger who was just going to be able to grind every single night. And those type of guys, it doesn't matter if the puck's going in or not. They just want to know if the team's winning and they still do their role the same way. But it's like with some of the stuff, like even the shooting the puck over the top of the wide open cage, you do wonder how much of this has just kind of been like this season has been haunting him, whether or not he is thinking about the number next year and what it's going to look like, how he feels about this team, how he thinks the coaching staff thinks about him. Like,
hockey's hard.
Yeah.
And having those things that are weighing on you.
I'm just saying, I think what he's saying is he's the kind of guy that it would weigh on him. I'm not saying that's a bad thing. I'm just like that's a reality with the player.
And you wonder if like the lack of scoring or the lack of offense really in general has something to do with the lack of, quote unquote snot, where when he's really starting to feel good about his game, that's when he's more for the net.
Can't take penalties though all of a sudden, dude, because he always takes penalties.
Yeah.
So all of a sudden, if you're not scoring goals,
but I think
the fans are riding you, and now you're taking bad penalties once in a while.
That's what I mean,
they'll lose their minds.
But that's why the offensive part of it hasn't led to him be able to, because you remember watching him with Detroit when he would play against the Leafs, like, oh my God, this guy is the most annoying player in the league. He's in everybody's face. He's greasy. He's and it's been very muted. Yes.
just trying to take on the entire other team.
Well, no, he jackknifed the Habs goalie between the legs like as hard as he could when the puck was clearly frozen. It's like, oh, this is what they've needed forever. And he hasn't done it since. So I don't want to spend too much time on him because I don't think it really merits it with his game today, obviously. But I do think that the playoff stuff will be a saving grace for him, where maybe he does get hot in the playoffs and have a couple big moments and people really flip the narrative on him. And you talk about contract stuff. You know what a good playoff run in Toronto would do for his contract? If people will forget about this regular season so fast. If they get past the first round and he scores 3 goals in the first round and he's like, it doesn't matter. So
one big goal.
So there's obviously been a ton of conversation about Matthews, right? Yeah. And rightfully so, because he's been unbelievable. And, not to do the show that would usually be in this time slot with Real Kipper and Bourne. Yeah. But Marner has been unbelievable during this stretch.
Yeah, he's been really great.
Like, I'm looking at his last 5 games. Today, 3 assists.
Yeah.
2 assists against Anaheim, 3 versus Philly, 2 versus Ottawa, and a goal versus Dallas. So he's got a 5-point game point streak going right here. And I'm looking back further. I think it's gone further back than that. Yeah, you had 2 assists against Winnipeg, a goal against, so he's been on a 8-game point streak here. And it kind of coincides with Matthews' hot stretch where he's really turned it on. And I know what the relationship with this city and Mitch Marner is. You don't have to tell me about the way people feel about the guy. But a lot of this really insane stretch from Matthews, if you go back and look at the goals, 16 has been putting him on a pillow for him. It's been a really, really good stretch for Marner. Does it have him back on a 100-point pace or close to it? He's really kind of turned it around here where it was bad to start this year. It wasn't good.
No joke. In terms of his market and the amount of attention that the Leafs get, right? Because the most underrated player can never be on the Leafs because the Leafs are talked about by everybody. Yeah. But if you take into account how good you are, how important you are to a team when they're playing well, and how he's performed this year versus how much oxygen he actually gets in the market and how much he gets talked about by fans and how many conversations there are about his play and his positives and his numbers and all these different things. And I get that part of it is this year was a Nylander year, and everyone's always been obsessed with Tavares, and any sign of decline, there's like a huge part of the fan base that just can't wait to just jump on it and go like, oh, he told you he's old and it's a bad sign. Mitch
kind
Marner,
of felt like he went by, like Willie went by him at points this year where he was like red hot and like, is he better than Marner? And it's just...
But that's what I'm saying. In terms of the most underrated athletes in this city, it's 100% Mitch Marner. And if you're talking about the most underrated guys in hockey... right now, he's kind of one of them, again, within the context of how much he's talked about by his base in a positive way. You're right. He's been brilliant.
He's been unbelievable.
But this is sort of the thing that sucks when you're not a big goal scorer is you kind of have to be brilliant every single night for people not to just hammer you.
Well, because his off nights are quiet.
That's what I'm saying is when he's engaged, it's great. When he's actually trying to play a little bit of a physical game without trying to just, do it like over the top. We all know when it's pressing versus when it's just kind of comfortable. When he's just, I always say it, but it's just the jitterbug that's all over the ice. The guy that's turning pucks over, who's getting into shooting lanes, who's breaking out the play the other way, who's just patient with the puck in the offensive zone and waits for guys to get to their spots and then just nails them with that perfect tape-to-tape pass. Yeah, he's nasty. He really is incredible. He was awesome again tonight, but it just sort of gets back to the tie-in that I had a little bit before is kind of still does feel like one-line team, and you're never going to be the guy that gets credit when the dude you're passing it to is the greatest goal scorer maybe ever.
Yeah, no, it's true. Like it's really hard for him. I would never ever be like, oh, he's better than Matt. Like there's like the conversation.
But that was a crazy conversation. No one would.
No, but like
except for one guy.
Yes, but I think he is an integral Kipper. Part. Yes, of course. We all know. I already alluded to Kipper.
I was joking.
Kipper's probably listening on his way home, be like, why are these guys talking about it? But I just, I think it's an amazing Matthews run, and I've enjoyed every minute of it, and he's clearly doing a lot on his own, and he's shooting it in the net. But Marner does deserve the kudos for how integral a part he's played in this.
Yeah.
What did was the number on the broadcast today that Marner has 22 primary assists on Matthews goals this year and 29 total primary assists? That's a big number. Yeah. I don't know where that ranks in the league, but that's definitely got to be a top 10 number, top 5
He
number.
better have that.
For sure.
If Austin Matthews refuses to play with anyone other than you and you're on his line and he has 49 goals, You better have close to half where you're
sure.
passing the puck.
You better be putting it on a pillow for him. You're right. And he's also making $11 million to do this. So it's all within that prism.
Also, he's played 2 more games than this player. But just when I'm talking about underrated, to just illustrate the point.
Yes.
I'm sitting on this one.
Oh.
Well, it's not.
Least talk exclusive hot take here?
It's just in terms of, okay, think about the ways that we talk about Draisaitl.
Yeah.
It's like, is Draisaitl better than Matthews? Like, we have those conversations.
I don't know who has those conversations.
Well, people do.
Edmonton.
Yeah.
Not us.
Other people do. But it's like, Marner has the same amount of points with 4 less goals than Leon Draisaitl.
Yeah.
And just like, think about how often you've talked about Mitch Marner this year with your friends, think about what it would even look like if you're okay, you listen to this pod, right? Mm-hmm. You got your headphones in. Now, think about what the conversation's like if you're sitting around with your buds and you're having a beer and you're like, you know who's sick? Marner. Like,
probably not going to go over great.
No. You're getting a look immediately. Like, everybody's like, yeah.
We know.
Yeah, all right.
I guess.
We don't really like to talk about it, though. Just shut up about it. Just let him be all right. But it kind of gets back to the same thing with all this stuff. And you and I mentioned on last Leafs Talk. It's awesome if they get these stats. It's great if Matthews hits 70 goals. Yeah. I want to talk about one other Matthews thing. But it's just the guy has 0 goals in Game 7s in the playoffs. It's just, you got to get one of those. You got to put some teams away. And then people will care a little bit more about these accolades. I'm just saying that it's awesome. People obviously
clearly
care.
Always measured against the playoff failures.
Yeah.
It always will be until they get over the hump. Like, at least go to the 3rd round.
That's it.
Where it's like you score a couple big ones and people will forget about it. And you have a long run that goes longer than the first, 3 weeks of playoffs.
Yeah. It's just the amount of stats you put up and the amount of goals you score. It's amazing. And I do think that there's something different about 70. Him cooking 70.
70 is a crazy number.
Okay, this is my math. I got 2 Matthews things for you. One, I'm going to do more tomorrow. I'm doing with Craig Simpson. I can't figure out which stats nerd I'm going to bring on yet to discuss like war in hockey and how we do this, because I really want the best stats to illustrate who's doing the most for their team in terms of like real wins above replacement and measuring the rest of the team without certain players and kind of digging into that for me, because I think that Matthews' heart case, if he does hit 70, is, well, 1, there's 70 goals that I put in the net, but 2 is, to me, this is the crappiest Leafs team that he has played on.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it's the crappiest team.
Outside of the rookie year one, but that doesn't really count.
But the rookie year team too, they were all piss and vinegar and they're all stoked up. 100%. And it was just, the expectation. But even then, they ended up actually like they added Boyle at the deadline.
Buchanan.
I thought that was the next year.
No, that was that year. Because that's the same. Was that the?
No,
they played Boston in the first round that year. It was Buchanan.
Buchanan was the next year. Yeah.
You're right.
Because it still felt wrong, and I was like, Montreal,
Leafs legend.
loser franchise, trading your guy to the Leafs for a second round pick. Embarrassing for you. Just the way he's carried this team. But why? Okay, this is so dumb. If Matthews, what does he have now? And he's got 30, what did they say tonight? 34 in 32 games?
35 in his last 32.
35 in his last 32? Yeah. Why does it matter when the 50 starts?
Yeah, so this is I completely agree with this.
Like, if you get 50 and 50 at any point in the season, we should talk about it being 50 and 50.
For sure.
Like, you should count the games he has to miss. They're all in a row. Like, if he has to miss a game in there, then you don't go like, oh, well, he was off that game.
No, that
counts.
Yeah, I get it.
But if you're 50 and 50 in the same block, then it should be 50 and 50. It doesn't have to be the first 50. Love this.
Yes. This is a take.
But it doesn't go over the next year.
But he already did it.
It has to be in a season.
He already did this.
He already did 50 and 50?
Yes. Like, it was like when he scored 60, he did the 50 and 50, and people got bent out of shape about it.
See, I didn't even know that.
Oh, he did it. Yeah.
No, that's what I mean. It's so relevant that I didn't even know. I cover this team. I've watched every single game for the last, I don't even know.
Yeah, no, he did it.
He did it.
He did.
So he's already got 50 and 50.
Yeah, he did it. I think he did 50. Yeah.
So then who cares? He already did it.
But
and
the thing is,
he should have 2 50 and 50s if he gets another one.
But no one gives credit for it.
No, that's stupid. That's the dumbest thing we've done.
Well, what about 60 and 60?
Yeah. Then again, he should get the credit if he gets 60 and 60. Yeah. But he's not going to get 60 and 60. That's outrageous.
Maybe. I mean, he's got, what is he at now? How many games has he played?
Yeah, I know.
He's got 49 and 52. Yeah. Like, it's not outrageous.
Yeah. All I'm saying is,
they play the Coyotes next. Get a Hattie against them, no problem.
He's got 2 games against the Coyotes coming up. He needs 6 goals in those 2 games.
No problem. Honestly, I don't put anything by him.
Actually, you know what's outrageous about his season? It's like if you told me what's the over-under on Matthews' goals those 2 games against Arizona.
Yeah.
I'd be like 3.5.
For sure. Yeah, and I think I would consider an over. And it's
like it would be juiced. The under would be juiced.
Yeah,
but
like what? Like
you couldn't set it at 2.5.
No,
you couldn't set him at 2.5 goals in 2 games against that crappy team that's lost 9 in a row. You'd have to set it at 3.5, and it'd be like the over would be plus 135, plus
That's
140.
Fair. Yeah, which is insane to say.
Yeah.
There's one other thing that I've been thinking about with Matthews.
Yeah.
And I want to run it past you.
Yeah. This is the time. This is the time we're paid to do it.
What do you think how the Leafs handle this? If we're heading down the stretch and let's say they're confirmed playing Boston, they're locked in, can't go up, can't go down, locked in.
No, shut it down.
And he's got 67 for the last 2 games.
You do the same thing that happened last time when he was chasing. Remember, it was 65, or he was kind of trying to hunt.
It was for 60.
Yeah, I know, but remember after he had, because what's Ovi's career high?
65, I think.
Yeah, I think it's like 64 or 65. And there was at least a kind of a realistic chance they started to dial it back, and they were like, yep, you got your 60, and now it's kind of shut it down time. I don't know, man.
70 is a different animal than 60.
It doesn't matter. Here's the thing. You could chase that a little bit more if you were just a normal team that had playoff series wins under your belt.
Yeah, 65 is his career high.
Yeah.
07, 08.
Yeah, if you just were a normal team that was like, oh, have the Leafs won a cup? No, but have these guys made a conference finals at least? Have they made good on a run?
Mm-hmm.
Totally. But if you're Matthews and you're Keefe and you're that group, it's like, one, what's the message that you're sending to the team if you're just trying to let them hunt 70 goals, especially playing them in a meaningless game at the end of the year? But two is, I think that the mentality of the team and the fan base, it would sort of be tainted. It would make it divisive and it would be annoying, and I would hate it.
That's what I mean.
No, you don't have 70 goals be divisive.
Towards that.
Yeah, but I don't think so.
Okay.
I think
that's just a thought that I've had. That because I think.
But we're talking about one game essentially here, because they're not going to sit him for 2 games. Like it's not. Yeah. You don't get.
So
really
he has 68 going into 82. Does he play?
No.
Okay.
Absolutely not.
He absolutely plays.
No. Why?
Okay.
What's the point?
Because
you're locked in.
Well, I mean, the Stars have been running this organization for 6 years. You don't think that the chance to get 70 goals, he's not going to try?
Too? Yeah. No, I really believe this.
Okay.
And I know the guys love their round numbers or whatever.
Yeah.
I think if he passed Ovi's all-time career high in a year, if he got 66, he'd be good.
Okay. All right.
I think he'd be like, that's pretty sweet.
It's an impossible question to answer, but it's just something to put on your radar from when we start heading to that direction, because it's going to be there.
It is so crazy how our brains work, though, where we're like, 70.
Yeah.
It's like, what if you had 68? We're like, who cares? Forgettable. But 70 will just last with us for, like, the UFC has this right now.
Right.
It's like they've got UFC 300 coming up.
Oh, yeah,
and they put, like, the main event in the card. Yeah. They announced it at like 1 a.m. because Dana was ashamed. He's like, yeah, by the way, it's this crappy fight.
Oh, really?
Yeah. And he's like, well, yeah, this is 300.
And people are outraged.
No. Yeah, the UFC fans are pissed, but everybody knows the reason why he did it is because everybody's going to buy it because it's 300. They're like, there's like a movie like that.
Okay.
300.
But
century mark.
70's nuts. How many guys have scored 70?
I'm not saying 70's not nice. This isn't my case.
Nuts.
Oh, I thought you said nice.
The 70's very nice.
70's pretty nice.
I want 70 goal scorers NHL.
Yeah.
Like, there hasn't been many.
I get it. I understand the implication. I'm just telling you that if it's me and I have my druthers, like, no. Here's my case for it, to argue against myself, Colin Cowherd style.
14 guys have done it.
The argument for is Peyton Manning. And I think it was Robert Mathis when the Colts could have gone 16-0.
Yeah.
And then they lost that game because they put in Curtis Painter.
Yeah.
And then the Colts got derailed and they lost. And Robert Mathis said, why does everybody remember this? Like, he was like, do you remember who won the Super Bowl 3 years ago? And they were like trying to think about it. And he went, yeah, but you remember the 72 Dolphins, right?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
It's a good argument. This is exactly what I mean, man.
That's it. I'm saying that's the case, is if the team is all behind it and they're all horned up for Matthews and they go, you're our leader and we want you to get 70, we want that round number, then I think it means something a little bit more.
Gretzky's done it 4 times.
Yeah.
You have Brett Hall, Mario Lemieux, McGillney, Solani, Curry, and Bernie Nichols. But you want to be in that list. That is a list that it's like exclusive. And in this era, it's absurd. And they're going to push for it, and he's going to be playing.
Yeah, he should push for it. He should try to get it.
Anyways.
My only point is,
You're right.
It's a real.
I agree with you.
It's a real tough look. What was the year that the Raps tried to play for that stupid streak, and Fred VanVleet got his shoulder dislocated against the Miami Heat?
Casey was playing him hard,
but they were going for 65 wins.
Was it?
Yeah. They were going for 65 wins.
Bam Adebayo hit that hard screen. Bam.
Rocked his
Got him.
what.
Got him.
And Freddie wasn't the same for that entire season. They kept trying to send him in there.
Yeah.
And he was like, ha.
He was not decisive.
Yeah. Julian Edelman, same thing. Patriots played him. Meaningless game. Tore his ACL.
Buddy, you'd be watching that game 82.
I love how we're doing this. This is so dumb. This is what game is this?
I don't know, but we're going to talk about for an hour.
I know. I'm just saying that.
The guy's got 50 goals in 52
Are we at 60
games.
games?
Yeah, dude.
Is this 60 for the Leafs?
We're getting
Drew.
deep. We're getting deep here.
By the way, I looked at Drew and he looked at me like disgusted that I would even consider to look at the producer of the show with a stat. Like he looked at me like, how dare you?
The job has changed.
Yeah. Buddy, we're in different times.
Oh, yeah.
We are in different times.
As a guy who's on TV talking every day as a producer.
We are in different times, my friend.
All right.
No, I mean in terms of work ethic.
Let's break.
Yeah, let's take a quick break and let's come back and then, talk more on Leafs Talk Special Edition. Follow us on Twitter and Instagram at JD Bunkis, at Sam McKee. If you're watching this on YouTube and it's late, you can bang the old thumbs up. If you're watching on SN Plus, thank you for your money to the company. We appreciate that. It's really good having money come in. We see a lot of it, a lot of it, And if you're listening on radio, then stay tuned because you're about to get more live Leafs talk in like 4 minutes.
Live.
There's that amazing theme song again. Dude, imagine if you wrote this and then you're like, hey, listen to this sick song I made.
And then this was composed by a duty-free music.
Yeah, but that's what I'm saying. Somebody made it and it's like, I'm pretty proud of this. And they're like, that sucks. No one will ever use that song. You suck. And then one day you fire up this pod that you leave 5 stars on and you're just like, oh,
just crushing it.
Yeah. That rots. We got to switch that up.
You want to hear Ultimate Heartbreak?
Yeah.
We've been struggling. The Zigzags get a full team together.
Oh, yeah.
And we've been grinding.
Yeah.
And we've been missing 2 guys. We've been skating with 8. Yeah. Finally cobbled together the A squad tonight. 10 guys. Got the call before the show that the other team forfeited.
Yeah.
Boys are still going, though.
Yeah. You're just going to try to get another goalie?
There's no pucks. We're just going to work on stops and starts.
Practice.
Stops and starts.
Yeah.
We're going to do that. You know how when you're a kid, you do the circles around, like you did the circles? Yeah. That's what we're going to do.
That's pretty fun.
Hard breakouts.
Yeah, it's pretty fun.
I'm going to be slamming the stick like Sheldon.
Yeah. Okay. So I got 2 other things from this game that we forgot because we were screwing around. One is Samsonov, since he's been back, is 3rd in save percentage.
It's crazy.
7-1.
It's crazy.
And we already mentioned that, hey, were the Blues amazing tonight? Were they super dangerous? No, but Samsonov was good.
Quiet
in the net, just killed some plays where they really needed him to, made some big stops. And then the only 2 goals that go in the net, one is, again, the ping pong ball where it just goes everywhere and then puck has eyes. It finds its way in the back of the net. And also, they let Saad get into the middle of the ice, like right in the slot and rip one. So, okay, that goes in.
It was a bad bounce, but it probably should have gone in regardless.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. It's like, but he was seeing it again tonight.
Yeah.
It's just, he's now fully back into just, you got to have a ton of confidence mode. He's a top 10 goalie again in the NHL. This is how stupid the position is.
Oh, you're going that far.
Yeah, I'm going that far.
You're back.
Dude, he's just not, there's no shakiness.
Yeah.
If he starts to lose it again, I'll drop the confidence immediately. It'll be a bad habit.
I'm trying to think of the games because there was a couple where it went down.
If you're top 3 in save percentage, you're 7-1 in your last 8 games. You deserve the respect. And
he's been good.
Shut up.
He's been good. He's been good. And but you know me, I hate goalies, so I will never truly trust any goalie.
He was a stud.
He was good.
He was awesome in the net.
And now that you have the looming Joe Wall return,
he's the starter. Joe Wall's the backup.
All of the stuff. Well, that's the thing. It's like
100% Joe Wall's the backup.
I agree.
Yeah.
And you've bought yourself some time. Where you don't have to rush Joe Wall back because you're like, oh my God, we can't get a save from anybody.
Well, not only that, now you don't have to play Joe Wall too much because
that's what I mean. That's exactly what I mean. You can ease him. You can ease him back into his workload.
Yeah.
And then you see who's hottest once the playoffs starts, and you go with them. So, this has been a phenomenal development for the Leafs because how many conversations do we have that he can't come back? Where like when he went down that first time, we talked about it. He's gone. He cannot come back. He is out of this.
I did a farewell tour.
Of course. Yeah. Who didn't?
Yeah.
You'd be insane not to. He was a broken man. And he goes down there and works on the magic ice down at Coca-Cola
No,
Coliseum.
dude, Kelly Rudy. Now I had him on.
What'd he say?
He just said he was like Trey Living played it the perfect way. He went, all you guys were confused, all you non-goalie dumbos were confused that he wasn't playing. He's like, you can't put a guy who's struggling behind an AHL blue line and then just get shots ripped at you. No
so
chance.
like playing him in an AHL game would have been really stupid.
Yeah,
okay.
He went right away. He knew that wasn't going to go down. It's like Tree Living wasn't going to play him. They're going to let him rest. They were going to let him recuperate.
Yeah.
It was never a scenario where he was going to play AHL games down there.
Yeah.
And then he was going to come back. They were going to hide him from the media. They were going to let him find himself. And then boom, he did it. Man, it's just.
They kind of nailed it.
Yeah, they did.
Yeah, they deserve credit for it.
Yeah, it's also just a reminder of how mental all this stuff is. But it's not weird. It's mental.
Well,
it's
mostly goaltending.
No, but
goaltending is the number one in all of sports mental position.
No.
Yes.
Number one is any golfer.
Okay. Team sport.
Yeah. And then pitcher.
No, goalie's more of a mental game than pitcher.
I think pitcher, you're out there, you're standing alone on a little island that they make for you, and they're like, hey, throw it on that little island and make sure you do it 100 times.
I guess it's kind of the reverse of goaltending, though, because
You're
you depend
so
so much on everybody else, and everybody else depends on so much on you, and you're a goalie.
Yeah.
Right?
Anyway.
Okay, so that got a little too philosophical.
But we were talking about Bertuzzi, too, where we're saying, hey, he's in his head.
Yeah, but at least he can hide a little bit. Like, he's not the focal point.
Under his 18 turtlenecks and whatever other weird gear that he decides to slap on.
So, what, you had something else?
Yeah, one other thing on the game is that Nylander scored his third shorthanded goal of the year.
Yeah.
There was a time when he first started killing penalties for the Leafs, I texted you, what the bleepity bleep is Keith doing, putting the soft bleepity bleep guy on the penalty kill bleepity bleep.
Yeah.
And you were like, I don't know, maybe he'll be good. Yeah. There's a lot of swears. That's incredible. How incredible is it that I don't swear on air?
I have this conversation with my wife every day. But she's like, how do you not swear on air? You swear every word.
But yeah, you and I especially.
We are sailors, bud.
Yeah.
We go blue every day.
And you know what my first question I ask whenever I do anyone's podcast is, can I swear? And they're like, yeah. I'm like, oh,
yes.
Yeah. I can't believe it. I can't believe that I've been able to get this far.
I go back and forth with stars in the penalty kill.
No, but he's done it well.
He has.
He's genuinely a good penalty killer for them. And I can understand the case if they went out and got somebody, if he actually got bumped off of it, but he's been really good for them.
Good reads, smooth skater, and he's lethal. Like that two, I love that 2-on-1. Yeah. We were sitting in the boardroom watching it, and you're like, don't you dare pass it to Holmberg.
I did.
Like, he won't. Yeah. He just roofed it. He roofed it.
I did, because I would have been furious if he tried to get cute with that pass. It's just like, dude, you got it. You got the lane. You're William Nylander. Pick it.
This is something, speaking of penalty killing, that I'm wearing my own sound hat, and I'm sick to bring up.
Yeah.
But
I like how you're like my Owen sound hat as though it's singular. Like, you got like how many Owen sound hats you got?
5 to 6.
Yeah, I was gonna say.
But Easton Cowan scored a shorthanded goal today. He is legitimately the best player in the OHL.
Yeah.
Like, he is, I think, what is he, 26 game point streak now, 24 game point streak. It's in that range. Scores every game. London's the best team in the league. It really upsets me that this is just going to turn out really well, and it's a great pick, and he's just like a London Knight through and through, and the Leafs are going to open up the pipeline to the Knights, and it's just, now that Dubas is gone, it's going to be full Knights all the time.
Love it.
Which it probably should be, but it makes me really sad. It really hurts my feelings. And I was watching, had it last night, and I got a notification on my phone, and it was just like, against the attack, it's like Easton Cowan. Like, oh my God, not again. But no, he is legitimately looking like the steal of the draft. And people made fun of it so hard. And I'm like,
but this is my favorite thing.
But why do people even try?
Yeah, but this is my favorite thing every single year. So I don't pretend to know the NHL draft.
Of course.
all.
I don't even look at the draft anymore, because the Leafs have been good for 5 years.
But at least with the NFL draft, you can watch big-time quarterbacks in big-time games. And
100%.
you're there on NFL. Like, you're there on Saturdays, and you can watch college ball, and you can get some at least assessment of a guy. College basketball, you get March Madness, where you'll watch a team. If you watch a team make a run and people go, you know what, I like Kemba Walker. Then I go, fine. Yeah. You watched him play in a bunch of big games. You can formulate an opinion on him. There are 4 people that I actually care about their opinion who are not working for hockey teams right now. When it
Jason
comes,
Bukala, number 1 on the list.
That's what I'm saying. It's like, if you're Cause and you're Bukala and you want to say stuff about prospects, but 99% of the people that are on Twitter that decide to be like, if you're Corey Pronman, I respect you. That's your whole trade. That's your whole thing you do. I respect it. But everybody else, when they're like, this guy in Germany, I'm like, shut up. You never watched the guy in Germany, the 18-year-old. Like, shut up.
Probably take the kid from
That's
the
it.
best development league
That's
on the
it.
best
That's what
team
we
in the
said
league.
already. It's just, but like a right side of history for me is people were making fun of it and they were like, "Oh, it's a reach," and I went, "Yeah, the guy who the second they said he's named after a hockey stick."
Yes.
And that they showed his face. And he's got a little pug face and he's just a grinder hockey player. I went, that's the guy. This is a great pick. A+. That's on my board of having never heard of him.
He's got the most Strathroy, Ontario face of all time.
Hadn't heard of him. I wouldn't know him from Adam before he was drafted to the Toronto Maple Leafs. Immediately right side of history.
That's the thing with the draft. I don't know.
No, shut up. You can't have an NHL. MLB and NHL drafts, if you have any opinion, shut up.
Like, there's like 5 guys that can have it.
Shut up. Yeah.
I agree. And but the thing is, it's been really nice since the Leafs have been good.
Nothing gets me to roll my eyes harder.
But
when
I don't even, I haven't watched the NHL draft in 8 years. Like, since the Matthews draft, I was like, oh, we got Matthews. And I
watch it because it's on Sportsnet. I watch everything on Sportsnet.
I
do. It's on SN Plus. I bang that out.
I don't care about the draft.
I got to tell you, I use my SN Plus for UFC on Saturday.
Yeah.
Oh, it's the cleanest experience.
Buddy, SN Plus is really good.
Yeah, it is.
Like, I watch all my hockey on there. Like, it's excellent.
No. But the only reason I ever started using it was because, I have cable. So I have all the sports packages. So I watch them on my TV.
Okay.
But I used SN Plus for UFC. I was like, whoa, that was actually really clean and really simple and really easy. Yeah. Money, please.
Give me my money.
But it's true. It was good. I'm telling you. It was really good. There are people watching on SN Plus right now. They better be like, I agree.
I agree. Those guys are so handsome on there. They look really, really good.
Dude, imagine being in like the apps department though, and you work that stuff, and then they go, "What do you do?" And we go, "We talk on the radio," and they're like, "Oh yeah,
that's us."
They're like engineers.
So Leafs going into this weekend after they play the tomato can. Coyotes.
I told you.
And they go Vegas, Colorado, Vegas.
Yeah.
How many points do you need out of that to be like, okay, let's push it?
4.
Okay. I think that's a fair number.
2 wins, and they got to be regulation. If you're like, I'm saying you got to get 4 points regulation. If you get 4 points and they're overtimes, that's
I don't know.
different.
I think if they push those teams to overtime, that shows you that you're.
No, they push everybody to overtime. This is what they do.
Well, they don't push anyone to overtime.
Yeah,
they either chase to get to overtime or come back to get to overtime. There's only 2 options with them.
Straight up, I'm doing the whole, like, you got to ride the wave the entire way. Because to me, the question is no. There's, by the way, I just want to say on record, there's no scenario where I like a first round pick for 10F. I'll say it if they make that trade.
No, I agree. It's a crazy move.
No situation where you do that. And I don't think that they're even considering it, to be honest. The only question is, could they get like a Hanifin and TANF package together and then use a bunch of assets? That to me is fine. And that to me is where you go, okay, you know what? Then you're going to re-sign both guys and you decided that that's your core, fine. But I'm using all the time. I'm going like right up to the deadline if I'm tree living, because it's like if you're making that kind of a huge commitment to this core and you're deciding you're bringing somebody in with term or someone that you're going to give term, then you should, every game that you have, you should use before jumping the gun.
No, you have to really be sure.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Yeah. So that's where I'm at with it.
Okay.
Get 4 points, but get 4 regulation points.
I'd like to see them win. You got to win at least 1, clearly. But if you're tight in the games, you go to overtime in a couple of them and you win 1.
You're all about like moral victory points, eh?
For sure. I mean, I'd cheer for the Leafs. I need to love the loser points. The loser points.
You're the guys that always say the Leafs don't win in the playoffs. I know, but it's just all luck anyway. It's all just luck anyway.
Oh God, I hate that take.
So my God,
it's the luckiest sport. Take. It's so
I don't know
lucky.
why you would ever watch sports if that's the way that you view them. You watch the Leafs lose again 8 years in a row, and you don't even get mad, and you're just like, well, got unlucky again. Shut up. All right. Jail.
So I guess we got to go. Oh, there's the music.
That's the music. Subscribe to the podcast. Leave 5 stars. Do all those things. Leave a nice little review for us. We read those messages, even the mean ones.
I don't read them.
I read the mean ones. I read the mean ones.
Oh, you're a sucker.
I read them all.
You love the punishment. I'll get the whip out for you.
I told you, my bar for muting is so low. Anyways, thanks for listening.